And welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Jones. On the show this week, we'll be reviewing our disappointing 1-0 away loss to win from Aston Villa, and also looking ahead to our fixture at the weekend to Brighton. Also, just a quick note that the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club Christmas party is happening this Sunday in the River Bar. So hopefully you can join us. So sit back and enjoy the show. On the show this week, I'm joined by my regular guest, Eamonn Donnelly. Looking well. Eamonn, how are you?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, John. Just doing a bit of bubbling squeak there. Goes well with a lovely little glass of sherry there. With a Harvey's Bristol cream.
Eamonn's on the burn already.
Tis the season to be Johnny. I'm all right. Yeah, we're okay. We're good.
We were just waiting for Eamonn and John to come on, as always.
Yeah.
If there's any stopwatches out there for the new year, we'll take them on board. I'm also joined by John Mealy. It's been a while since you were on, John, so hopefully you'll be on before the end of May. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Nice to be back in the rotation. Yes.
You're like John L. Nenny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the better looking half of him, Luce. You're fit and healthy. No, it's good to have you both on. We'll start the show as always with the review of our game from the weekend. But before we go to that one, which was a disappointing one that lost away to Aston Villa, there was another game last week, which was the 4-3 away victory against Luton Town. Declan Rice got the late winner. We'll briefly go into this, lads. It was a cracking game. I did say last week on it that I thought we were going to get a tough game to Luton Town. The goals we conceded were fairly poor. The two goals in particular, the corner, which was poor. I thought Raya could have done better. Adebayo, where Raya flapped at it, for their second goal, and then Ross Barkley, his goal went straight underneath him, which was another poor one from Raya. In terms of ourselves, we probably made a bit of hard work for us. You know, I think we probably underestimated Luton Town a bit. You know, I think we thought we'd turn up and get an easy 3 points, but that wasn't the case. But I thought, what I did like about it was we kept going till the very end. What a header from Declan Rice. He's worth his weight in gold, this lad, isn't he? 107 million quid. But what I thought was very frustrating was Mikel Arteta getting booked and a touchline ban for celebrating a goal like that in the last minute. If you can't celebrate as a manager, it's really gone to pot. But I'll come to you, John, since you're on our show again. What did you make of the game from last Tuesday night?
Well, I don't think there's any complacency at all.
You're a brave man saying the same.
I don't think complacency. I think Luton, as they proved against Liverpool and even against City yesterday, they're well capable of putting it up to people. I mean, they're strong, physical, hard-working side. They're good from set pieces, and they cause us trouble from set pieces. You know, we want to be better. We usually are. They got 3 goals, which is remarkable because we don't concede 3 goals. And for the bulk of the game, I think we controlled 75% of the match. Once we got the 3rd goal, I thought it was only one winner. The last half hour, it was just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You're right, defensively, we could be stronger. Raya could have been stronger, but he's not the only one. I thought, as I said, sloppy defending from the corner, allowing their big players to run at their goalkeeper. I thought we played some great football on the night, deserved to win it. As you said, we persevered. And Luton are putting it up to teams. No one's really turning them over.
Yeah.
So it's a good 3 points. You take it on the chin a game like that. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen every week. But we stood up to it and we got 3 points. So saying we were complacent, I think, is wrong. As for the yellow card for Arteta, that's a joke. It really is a joke, and I fully expect him to get another ban for the Liverpool game. They're waiting. for his remarks after the Newcastle game. He's going to get punched for that, and I expect him to be in the stands at Anfield. So, yeah, it's when your dugout is that close to the pitch and you score a last-minute winner, what the hell did they expect? I mean, come on, show a bit of common sense. But I thought the game, as you said, it's an exciting, entertaining game for the neutrals. A nerve-wracking game for Arsenal fans. I thought we played really, really well. I thought Luton put it up to us. I think they were very physical. They came in behind the blue players, some dirty challenges early on. Really, I was talking to a friend of mine. He said a bit of Stoke in them back in the day. You know, Arsenal don't like it up them.
Yeah.
This side can stand up to that.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to see the referees come down on that rather than seeing a last-minute goal, being celebrated and getting a yellow card. They should be concentrating on, players getting kneed in the back of the head and swinging arms into the face. But you take what it is. It's 3 points. We hard for taking them on.
And before I come on to yourself, Eamon, Declan Rice again, as I said, John, getting delayed when he's becoming a real folk hero at the Arsenal. He's only half a season in, isn't he?
So considering the amount of money we spent on him, and no one is doubting, no one is questioning that. It looks like a snip at the moment. He's been absolute sensation. Box to box player, superb defensively. He's getting the odd goal in. I knew he was good. He seems to be finding another level in this Arsenal team. So long may it continue. Former Irish international Declan Rice is really, really playing well. Yeah.
He's easily turned, isn't he? In fairness to Rice, baby. No, I have to say the fitness though and the energy of Luton Town really surprised me. They're really a fit team, and there's one player that has really got a second lease of life under Rob Edwards is Ross Barkley. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, and I thought he was really good on Tuesday night. I think it was his birthday he scored on as well, but it was poor from Ray. He should have been saved and things like that. But look, 4-3, we came away with 3 points. Yeah, you can't ask for more. Eamon, a cracking game. We were mentioning this last week on the show. This was going to be a tough one, and it proved to be, but maybe a bit harder to ourselves. But what did you make of the game yourself?
Well, I don't want to spend too long talking about it because given what happened on Saturday, given what happened on Saturday, it seems irrelevant now. And in terms of the listenership, it's old hat. But I can sum it up. John mentioned Stoke. They reminded me more of the Wimbledon team that for 15 years did what they did and did it well, and always had a big scalp in them, and they almost had a big scalp. And we rose to the challenge, deserved to win the game. We had a shocking night defensively, but we did it. We won the game. As for Declan Rice, we got the best 100 million player. Like some of our guys were in meltdown when we didn't get Casado for 100 million. But look, if everybody listened to me, everything would be okay. I said that before. But look, I mean, Luton, I watched Luton Man City yesterday, and okay, City had a load of shots, but it wasn't kind of a whisker here and a whisker there. Luton kept them at bay, and then in the last 10 minutes, they had Man City worried. They're what I said on the show last week was that I knew because I've watched them at home to Liverpool. They're a very athletic side, and it was a great win, great excitement. Move on. I'll talk about the Arteta booking in the context of what happened at the weekend more so than now. So
just briefly, Eamon, before we go to Villa, what did you make of David Raya for the 2 goals?
Shocking.
Yeah. Really.
The one thing I've always championed him for over Ramsdale was his ability not to be bullied at corners, and look what happens. The first goal wasn't his fault. The second goal was completely his fault, and the third goal, I don't know what he tried to do. He should have saved his legs. He got out of the way to dive down. He went down like a credit union loan, Anyway, but it's old hat.
Yeah, it's old hat by the Hatters. Now look, it was a good away win, 4-3, and we showed our resilience again to keep going to the very death. and it was a beautiful ball in from Martin Odegaard. I could see it happen though. The minute it came back to Odegaard, the ball in the box, and there was Rice with a bullet header, and he's only going from strength to strength. So after that high of Tuesday night, we move on to the low of Saturday. John McGinn scored after 7 minutes. Our former goalkeeper Martinez was making a clown of himself as well all game, disrespecting us, I think, but an idiot in my opinion. And thank God he's not at our club, because his personality just doesn't match what Arteta's doing with others. Like, in terms of the match, in my opinion, the high line, Villa's high line they got it down to a T. I thought Torres and Carlos really impressed me, the two centre backs, but the two disallowed goals were, I thought Saka should have stood in the second half. And I think we had enough probably to win 2-1. To be honest, I thought we had enough there Saturday. I don't know. Like, after Villa beating City Wednesday night 1-0, they were up for us, and I knew an early goal, whoever scored the first goal on Saturday night, was going to set the tempo for the game. And Villa, it was a well-taken goal, in fairness, from McGinn, the swivel and the turn, but top end why he could have been just a bit closer to him, in terms of marking, and probably Raya should have probably saved us, but I don't think we deserved to win 1-0. The way Villa were going on, they were going to go on to win the league or something, but as Eamon did point out in our group, they haven't won, what's that, 15 home wins now? They haven't done that for nothing. Emery has really set them up really well. I did like Emery as a manager, when he was with us. He had his moments, I suppose, but I did like him, and he's starting to show a Villa what he's capable of. Arteta was a big loss. I thought not being on the sideline, I thought we missed his presence there, I thought the players missed his presence, but I think that Villa game was always going to be the one, in my eyes, was going to be tricky, and I think Brighton and Liverpool are going to be another massive 2 games as well, which could shape it now for December, I think. But I'll come back to you, Eamon. What did you make of Saturday night's performance?
Well, first of all, there's so much at stake on every game now that we're all gutted and devastated when we lose. And, there was a time before the Arteta era took off when we just accepted defeat. We don't anymore. Look, it's gutting to lose that game, right? And when you lose a game and you play well, it's even more galling, because we did play well. Now, we committed 1 cardinal sin. John, how many years have you and I sat down in a bar and said, when you go away from home in a big game, and this was a big game, right? See the first 15 minutes out. And it's very disappointing that we didn't do that. First of all, Zinchenko gets caught inside. Gabriel doesn't do near enough to stop the cross. He doesn't do near enough, right? And Ben knew it himself. You can see Ben banging the ground when they score, because he knew he didn't get tight enough, right? I don't agree that David Raya could have saved that. Sure, it's from about 6 yards. No,
he could have got it.
No, hold on, no, Jonathan. Hold on, Jonathan. You've asked me again. I have to say to you, you've asked me my opinion. I'm giving it to you. I think it's all right looking at it on TV saying he put his arm up, but that's from 6 yards. You have to get lucky to save them. You might. I mean, Martinez saved one in the second half. He got lucky because he guessed, right? And Odegaard, had he had the presence of mind to switch corners, which was wide open for him, he'd have passed that ball into the goal. Martinez would have looked like a mug, and everybody would say, he's done it the wrong way. So Raya just did what instinctively he put his hand up. But, I don't blame him for that. The high line on Zinchenko didn't work, because Villa's high line was made for an earlier ball to Martinelli and Saka, and Zinchenko kept doing what Zinchenko does, and most of the time that's good, but taking 8-9 touches of the ball, trying to draw the defenders onto him and then releasing something through the gap. They played so high that we had to do something different. But it was disappointing that we didn't see the first 15 minutes out. If you look at the chances we had, and we didn't create a wild lot, but I'm just doing the count. Odegaard had 2 clear-cut chances. If Gabriel Jesus gets a first touch on the beautiful ball that was played in the second half, he's clean through on goal. Bukayo Saka in the first half normally would get that on target. And I think Martinez was nowhere to be seen for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that they were real chances. I really genuinely think the way the game panned out, if the second chance Odegaard gets, which he sweeps them in regularly, I think we'd want to win the game, not just draw it, because they were wilting. And I think if we'd have got a goal, I think that was around, 66 minutes or thereabouts. I think if we'd have got a goal at that stage, we'd have gone and won the game. If not 2-1, 3-1. I think we would have. We didn't get the goal. I thought Havertz was our best player. He was the one with the intelligence to try and break that high line. And he was also behind a lot of the creative stuff we did. I'll very quickly deal with VAR because I don't want to make the show about VAR again. They had 3 calls to make. They got one of them right and 2 of them wrong. The one that they got right was disallowing the goal. And it's not the referee's fault or VAR's fault. It's the fault of the law. The law is made by gobshites who must have never played the game. Because if Etienne Nketiah had got a foot to that ball instead of Havertz, it would have counted.
Yeah.
Because the rule is that even if it's accidental or you have no control over it, if the ball plays the arm of an attacker and changes direction, which it did, and he then scores it, it can't count. But if somebody else scores it, it's okay. But yet the ball can strike the arm of a defender and it doesn't matter. It's absolute nonsense. I mean, it's just, it's kind of potluck rule. Unfortunately, I have to say VAR, but a letter of the law, which is an ass, got that one right. I read something on ESPN's review of the VAR decisions about that they got the Jesus penalty decision right. No, they did not. They did not. That's a foul all day long. His leg was hooked. If that happens outside the box, it's a free. So therefore, if it happens inside the box, it's a penalty. The laws of the game, there is no difference between a free inside the box and a free outside the box, other than one's a free kick and the other's a penalty. This new threshold that's come in, I mean, for the name of Jesus, what is that? Oh, it didn't reach the threshold to be a penalty. It's not come dancing, It's a foul in the box. It's a penalty. And how people are saying it's different than the one that Crystal Palace got against Liverpool correctly. I just it was a disgraceful decision. And then the third decision, which was completely overlooked, was the clean arm smash on Nketiah, which might have made a difference given how tired they were with 10 or 12 minutes to go plus injury time. Sure, you seem to be able to just get away with, Bruno Guimaraes didn't use. He only used his forearm. Well, this was more than a forearm. And I'm not crying against Villa. I really admire them. They do what they do, and they did it very well, and they played high octane. And they'd only played Man City on the Wednesday. Hats off to them. But you've got to get them decisions right. So once again, we're talking about VAR. I'll talk when after John has kind of given his view on the actual structural side of the game. I want to come back to the Arteta ban and some of the things that struck me about the weekend's events after that. But if you want to kind of, I think, get John's view of yesterday's game.
Who was our man of the match, John, for
Havertz, all day long. He's actually player of the month.
Yeah, I think since that moment, Eamon, since he scored the winning goal against Brentford at the end of November, it really has given him the confidence, hasn't it? He's kicked on.
He was beginning to show signs of it long before then. That just broke his way. He was actually voted player of the month today. So. Was he? Fair price.
So yeah, and well deserved as well. Yeah, in fairness to him, yeah, he's getting into positions in the box now. Yeah, clever positions. Yeah, yeah, John. Disappointing our second defeat of the season. We lost 1-0 to Newcastle. And we lost 1-0 to Villa. Do you think we should have got anything from the game on Saturday night?
Yeah, but we shot ourselves on the foot. as Eamonn said, that was the first 15 minutes. Apart from that, we ran the game. He's right. The ball was, especially from Zinchenko, it just wasn't quick enough. There was too many extra touches when they weren't needed. There was swinging the ball to the right instead of to the left. Passes that went astray. I thought we were sloppy. I think sloppy is the way I describe it, because that game was there to be won. When you consider what Villa did to Man City, they bossed Man City. They didn't boss Arsenal. They definitely didn't boss us on the night. I thought we were, I'd say 90% effective. But as Eamonn was saying, the ball was just too slow getting to where they needed to be.
Yeah.
Too many extra touches. And then decision making when you're on the ball just wasn't where you'd normally see it from Arsenal. Odegaard had a couple of big chances. Definitely should have been a penalty. The swinging arm thing is ridiculous. Now, I have to be honest, he did show a lot of it on TV. You get to see it later on from different angles, and it's blatant a red card as you're going to see. I definitely wouldn't blame Raya on the goal. I don't know where you're getting that from. As Eamonn said,
in my opinion, you think as well, Eamonn, Eamonn, John, sorry. Do you think?
Yeah, dead wrong on that one.
Do you think it was a well taken goal by John McGinn?
John did everything he could. Great first touch, quick turn. As Eamonn says,
do you think he should have been closer to him?
Oh, 100%. And he knew himself. He had to be much closer to him. You can't take that away from John Gaines. Great first touch, real quick turn, put his foot through the ball.
Yeah.
The defender needs to be closer, and definitely don't blame the goalkeeper on that. I blame him. It's Arsenal's fault because they were sloppy. Absolutely sloppy, just bad decision making. I think the substitutions could have been better. I understand Jesus, maybe you can't play him 90 minutes after 90 minutes after 90 minutes. But as Eamonn says, Havertz was their best player. I'd put him centre forward. I'd have brought on Nelson just for pace, just to beat that high line. Because pace was going to be there. It's fine margins in a game like that. If we got the equaliser 20 minutes ago, there was only going to be one winner, and that was Arsenal. You put your hands up and say, right, that's one that we let slip.
John, one of the reporters in the Sundays yesterday, I think it was the Sunday Times, said that he was talking up Villa about their serious team, blah blah. But he said, Arsenal were by far the better team, but Villa were better in the boxes.
Yeah.
In other words, we didn't do enough in their box with our goal, and we didn't do enough in their box to get a goal. You know,
that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I can't really argue with that. As you said, Villa that's 15 consecutive home wins. That can't be ignored. He has them set up well. That high line though was just there to be taken for quick balls over the top, quick balls to the line, and we just didn't do it. We just took far too many touches, far too many bad options. Far too many sloppy passes, especially in the first half.
We did it more in the second half, I thought,
Yeah. I thought we bossed the game after the first 15 minutes. But as you said, I think we got that goal with a won. Because, as you say, we're fading the last 20 minutes. And I know you're going to have a go at VAR where Arteta was in the stand. But I think, decision making, I think our substitutions could have been better. But that's everything's easy in hindsight. I think it's just points that we dropped rather than Villa won.
Absolutely.
And I don't really want to take out away from Villa because they are playing well this season. But I think we let that one slip.
But we should have had a penalty, John, and that makes a difference.
Should have had a penalty. As you said, the swinging arm, the TV channel didn't spend a lot of time on it. They didn't show a really good angle of it. Seeing it later, that's a blatant red card. The VAR is not seeing. Why is VAR not getting these angles? And as you said, that penalty was a penalty for Liverpool against Liverpool. It's exactly the same thing. It's double standards. And as you said, on that goal that was disallowed, yeah, they're right. The law's an ass. Yeah. If a ball accidentally hits a defender's arm, it's not a penalty. But if it accidentally hits a striker's arm and leads to a goal, it's a free.
Well, here's the big question on that. If it had been Nketiah that poked it in, would they have given it to us? Because under the law, they should have,
It looks at the law's an ass.
Yeah.
I mean, when is a handball? When is it not handball?
No, I don't even think it was handball. It's his hand. If you looked at his hand, it's like that. If it's handball, it's
defender's arm as well. This is
You
it. Defender's arm as well.
You see, this is here's by extension. It may have been, but a bit like the Newcastle game, there's nothing conclusive to say that it wasn't handball.
Yeah.
And the referee in real time gave it as handball. So therefore it's handball.
Yeah.
How we could have seen it in real time, I'm not sure.
Especially with two players blocking them. It's amazing the way they...
I just said it's done and dusted, but I still put a lot of blame on Arsenal because we were sloppy, and that's
the same gobshite, by the way. That's the same gobshite referee who was a VAR official when Socrates scored a last-minute winner against Palace to make it 3-2. And he somehow found that Callum Chambers, it was either should have been a penalty for us or a last-minute winner, that Callum Chambers had fouled the Palace player.
After being shoved into the back into the Palace player. Yeah.
It was,
and that was under Unai Emery.
And I have to say as well, lads, the defender for Aston Villa, Diego Carlos, he made one or two more dirty tackles in that game. He should have really been sent off because he done a bad one on Saka down the side of his calf as well. There was a few tackles.
Gets kicked every week. Like there's no.
I do agree with Eamonn though. He's getting kicked around the place, and there's nothing. It's just been the referees just going pick yourself up. It is disgraceful though. But John, with the Arteta being in the stands for that stupid fucking suspension because he celebrated a goal, do you think they missed him being on the sideline, the players?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, he gives so many instructions, and every time there's a stoppage in play, you can see Odegaard going over and get these instructions, and but whether it would have made a difference, and you're not doing it on the pitch. Yeah, you're not doing it on the pitch. Maybe he could have given the players a bit of a rocket, move the ball quicker, especially in the first half. I just say it's just stupid with the yellow card against Luton. Anyway, it was ridiculous.
I know. Sorry, John, for cutting across. Myself and I think were you at the Brighton game at the end of last season? And De Zerbi, they scored the third goal, and me and Eamonn were right at that. And he ran from his technical box to the very end. And
we read an interview today with Roy Hodgson. He obviously gave an interview after the game on Saturday. Yeah, this is a guy who's been in the game over 50 years, and he says, "One or the third, I won't miss it." Because every time one of my coaches got up, they were yelled at like they were little kids to sit back down with their feet. I mean, what's the game coming to? Yeah. I mean, they're treating the people, it's absolutely ridiculous the way they're treating the coaches. And, I don't want players doing it. I don't want, you don't want them causing aggro, but I mean, you're treating them like kids.
Yeah.
Well, you see,
celebrate a goal now without getting a yellow card.
But that was what I wanted to come in on, John, because I also read that interview, Yeah. And first of all, let's look at the Arteta booking. So he was booked for celebrating a 98-minute winner.
Yeah.
And what did he celebrate? He ran up and down the touchline. Okay. Now, I'm not taking that away from Jurgen Klopp as a manager. He's a great manager. And good luck to him. And he's full of good stuff in lots of other ways. But if you look at Klopp, and I've been behind him in the dugout, behind Klopp on many occasions. And every time I watch Liverpool, he stands right within the earshot of the fourth official, and he's commentating in his ear for the entire game. And if a decision goes against him, he's giving this ironic laugh, or else he's chewing the ear off him. Now, which is worse for the game? Celebrating the goal or constantly berating the fourth official? The same Klopp, when they got a late winner against Everton that Jordan Pickford managed to keep in play and bat it down, he ran onto the pitch while the game was still being played. He didn't get a ban. I don't think Guardiola will get a ban for his disgraceful antics yesterday at half-time, where he collared the referee all the way into the tunnel. Collared him. And so much so, his coaches were converging on his... He was pushing him away because he wanted to be the one to have a go. He won't get a ban. Yet, our fella, right? And this is because he came out and called it what it was after the Newcastle game. They have it in for him now, right? They have it in for him, and they'll ban him again. And the upshot of it all is that this PGMOL, it's been run like a Montessori education center where let's all teach good behavior. Let's all teach good behavior. I really do. Being Roy Hodgson getting a booking on Saturday was a disgrace. The fella should be getting knighted, not a booking, for his contribution to the game and for all he's given the game. To give that man a booking when he's a bit sore because they've lost a guy to two soft yellow cards. Come on. When you see Roy Hodgson getting booked, you really do kind of have to go, sweet Jesus, what has it come to? But I just don't like the smell of the whole refereeing thing. It's very, very much white Middle England, behave yourself stuff. In fact, now that I mention it, and I'm not saying there's it galls me every time I see no room for racism come up on the screen, and yet we haven't had a black referee since Uriah Rennie.
That was 20 years ago, yeah.
That's 15 years ago. Like, how come there are no black referees? And I'll tell you why. Because there's a little enclave of white Middle England Northwesterners running the show, and it's a circus, and it's their circus, and they own it, and they're superstars, and it's all good stuff. And it's not right. There's a smell off it that I don't like, and I just find that we end up week in, week out talking about the decisions, and that's not what the game is about. And I wanted to say that when you see Roy Hodgson getting booked, you kind of say, I mean, even BBC Radio 5, I nipped out. I watched most of that game, and I nipped out to the shop, and I had it on Radio 5 Live on the car, and it was a big laugh and joke in the studio. That violent man, Roy Hodgson's after getting booked. Even they were kind of going,
what the hell are you doing?
Roy Hodgson, sweet Jesus, like,
it's
poor.
Matches, don't they? The VAR wants to be part of the entertainment, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah,
that's the point I'm making. But the other thing is, like, so Mikel comes out, had to bite his lip on Saturday night, clear and obvious. So what are the public being treated to? They can't even get an honest opinion off of a manager for fear that if he opens his trap, he's sitting in the stand again.
This is something every single manager needs to get on board. This is the Managers Association. If they can't give an honest answer, that's exactly the way they should come out, regardless of the scoreline, regardless of the performances, regardless of whether there's any controversy. They should all come out to have you out and say, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to give an honest opinion. So next question. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed giving it. Just consistently across the board, and then maybe those who run the game will start listening. Well, this isn't great television. Why can't they give an honest opinion? They're going to be fined. They're going to be sent to the stands. They're going to miss games. That's not good for the game. Now, don't get me wrong. The hardest part of any football game is to be a referee. I wouldn't want to be a referee, but at the same time, there's got to be a little bit of honesty around here. Referees have always been criticised. Always been criticised. VAR was brought in to help them. It's not helping them. VAR is not fit for purpose because the people running it are not fit for purpose. They can't use the technology. How many times have you seen it? They've gotten to put in the lines. Put the lines in and the player was miles onside and he still declared it offside. Why isn't the camera angle right? Why couldn't you tell that the ball was over the line? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
The other side of it is, John, the other thing as well, why is it taking 5 weeks since the Newcastle game?
Well, this was my point earlier on. They are waiting, and I expect him to be in the stands.
He'd be banned for Anfield. He'd be banned for Anfield. Yeah.
I honestly think that's what they're waiting for. How can we get even with this guy? Yeah, okay, we've taken a long time to consider his words, and we decided to punish him. He's going to sit in the stands again. Oh yeah, that's against Liverpool. I honestly believe that's going to happen. As you said, the PGMOL, there's no accountability to them. They can do whatever they bloody well want. But I think the Managers Association need to stand up and get together and say, we're not giving honest answers to any of the deals anymore. Unless
do you know what? I'd like to think that the respect in the game for Roy Hodgson might actually generate something like that. Among the managers, though.
I'd like to think it would, but I just don't see it happen. But to me, that's the only solution. if the managers can't give an honest opinion, then don't give any opinion. And the television companies will start throwing around, this isn't good. This is not what we're paying you billions for every year. You know, we want opinions from these guys. And it just because the referees are not happy about it. Tough. And that's, to me, that's the only way around it. Because it's ridiculous at the moment. I totally, at this stage in the game, get rid of VAR because it's not fit for purpose. Not until you have the right people running it. And go back to, okay, the referee made an honest mistake. Yeah. It's human error. You know, you always disagreed with some referees. Oh, that was never a corner, and they scored straight from it. Why was that a penalty? It was outside the box. Referee gave it. It's an honest opinion. Referees are human. It's called human error. But this VAR thing is just a joke. You see a decision given 1 week and it's not given the next. It's just insane. There's no consistency in it. There's no logic or reason to it. I'm sick of it, especially in English games. It's just nuts. It's not fit for purpose.
I'd be inclined to do a kind of a hybrid solution, John. I'd be inclined to just use it for offsides because I think the way the game is played, the way the game is played, a linesman with the naked eye is much more prone to human error. I think if the referee is giving his head, see what goes in the box, give a penalty if you think it's a penalty. But if you had computerized lines for the offside and goal line technology, everything else can be left out to the referee's interpretation.
And that's been brought in Italy, and that's what they use for. It's computerized for the offside. The human error is taken out.
Yeah.
All the other things, tackles, so that unfortunately is still subjective to a referee's opinion on how it went. But at the moment, I've no trust in it. Yeah. I really no trust in it. And you go to celebrate a goal and you can't because you're waiting to see.
But this thing about and the thing I referenced earlier, well, they looked at the Jesus possible penalty and decided it didn't reach the threshold.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to know, where in the rule book is the threshold?
It's like threshold, yeah. Not even mentioned in the rule. So like this,
there is no threshold. It's either a foul or it's not. You know.
Like I says, if the referee doesn't see that or doesn't give it, it's human error, right? That's something he probably it's a talking point after the game. When it comes to VAR, as you say, the conspiracy theories are out. These guys are just out together. This is ridiculous. One law for them, one law for us. Get rid of it.
Anyway, can I remind our younger listeners, when we won the league in 91, we had 2 points docked off us, and our captain was in prison for drink driving for 3 months. So keep the faith, you know.
No, it's not the end of the world. We will play a lot worse than that and win games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot worse than that and win games. As I say, that was sloppy.
As we did at Brentford, by the way.
Yeah, that was sloppy for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure they got the right accolades.
And the only way is bouncing back in the next game, isn't it? Prove that your doubter's wrong. Which should be another cracking game. Accordingly, with Liverpool winning against Crystal Palace there on Saturday, they're top now with a point, with 37 points, and we're behind with 36 with Villa. Third with 35 points. They're having some season, but I'm sure they'll fade off after Christmas. And City are struggling on 33 points. So the title race is really between ourselves and Liverpool, you feel now.
What the hell are you smoking? Jesus. Honestly.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Man City.
To be honest with you, lads, I don't know whether you agree, but I don't think they're the City of the last 2 or 3 years.
No, they're not. They're not. But they're still capable of winning 10 games in a row. But the thing about them is yesterday, because I watched the game, yesterday they showed that they actually cared.
Yeah.
So, he questioned whether they were kind of, a bit complacent and all of that. They weren't complacent. But I don't think they're as good as they were. So I think Liverpool are decent, but I think they can be got at the back, Yeah,
it'd be a cracking game at Anfield as well on the 23rd. I'm looking forward to that one.
Should the PGMOL?
That's how
the PGMOL would probably recommend that Liverpool get the points in advance,
Hopefully we go 2-0 up like we did in April and stick at 2-0. Yeah, no, that's
Anyway.
not cracking of a game. Yeah, and so going into the Brighton game now on Saturday, it's Liverpool are top, but we've 36 points as it stands. And that moves on to Brighton, as I said. That's a 2:00 kickoff, lads, on Sunday. Our own Evan Ferguson is having a good season for Brighton. Kind of, to be honest with you, Brighton is probably my favourite second team to watch. They really are a good team to watch in the Premier League. I like what the Serbi's doing with them. I don't know if it'd be like the end of last season when we were at the 3-0 home defeat. I think it'd be a different Arsenal we'll be seeing on Sunday. It's very hard to predict results here. We don't want to put the mockers on it. I know Liverpool are playing United then at 4:30, so Liverpool probably hammer down 5 or 6-0. So, what do you think, John, on Sunday? This be a tough game?
Oh yeah, well, Britain have had their number for the last couple of seasons, especially at our place. We've done them in their place. It's the way we're playing at the moment. We turn up to win the game. I don't see us being as sloppy again. I see an awful lot of players rested in Europe, and I really don't see that sloppiness being allowed on Sunday. And we turn up, we win the game. I'm really convinced of that, and that sloppiness will be drilled out.
Yeah,
and there's many languages you can think.
Yeah, they've their injury problems as well. Brighton, aren't they? There's a few top players missing there as well. Yeah.
I mean, Tommy's a big miss. Tommy's been brilliant for us since he got back in the side. Unfortunately, he's out injured. Yeah. So I'm just convinced that we turn up, play here again, we win. And
there's another thing as well. Sorry, John.
Disappointment from Saturday will dictate that.
Do you think we're missing Thomas Partey in the midfield?
We're not missing him as much as I thought we would.
Yeah.
And that's down to how good Royce has been. That's been brutally on. And obviously now Havertz is finding his feet. He's playing, as Eamonn said, he's playing some great football. He's starting to get that confidence of attacking in the box. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see Partey fit for the run in for the last 3-4 months of the season. I'd love to see him as an option.
Yeah.
But we're not missing him as much as I thought we would. But he's a good player. I'd love to see him back. I really would. That he played in the 1-0 win over Man City, and he came off the bench, and that midfield of Partey and Rice looked really good because we put City back the last 20-25 minutes. It was only one team going to win that match.
Yeah.
But we're not missing him as much as I thought. But that's down to how well Rice is playing because he's been phenomenal since he signed us. I have to be honest.
Yeah, it's like he's always been there, Rice, isn't he? He's just slotted into the way Arteta works.
Just on that, I agree with John, but I think if we had a party, and by the way, I've been one person who's taken dog's abuse on various threads about defending Kai Havertz, saying there was a player in there, and but I just think that if there had been a Partey Rice axis,
it could have stopped that
in the middle of the pitch on Saturday, I don't think we'd have been a goal down after 7 minutes because it would have been a different kind of structure, But look, he's not there, so you can't.
That picking a different team for different scenarios.
Yeah.
He'd be a great option to have available. Let's be brutally honest.
Yeah. But look, we don't have him, so we can't pick him.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, to your point.
How do you see the game going Sunday yourself, Eamonn, against Brighton?
On a note of optimism for all the thousands of listeners, and a note of optimism, I cannot in living memory remember the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club Christmas party that we've actually won again.
That's actually.
I can remember. Well, sorry. I say I can remember. I can kind of remember being marmalised, drunk after the Christmas party, and the defeat, getting slightly more Asher. We're all out having. But no, I actually think I'm with John on this. I think we win on Sunday. Don't they have to do something on Thursday night to make sure they get to
They do.
Yeah, so there's that too. We can go out tomorrow night now, and I don't want anybody, by the way, if anybody from the Dublin Arsenal podcast group listens to this show, and we get turned over badly in Eindhoven because we played a weekend team, will you just chill the fuck out? Like, seriously. Right?
Johnny.
Okay?
Yes, Johnny, chill the fuck out. Okay? There. You've had your heads up.
That's
there
it.
before the game's
Chill out,
even
boys. Right?
Okay.
Unfortunately,
No.
if it was me, I'd play the Stella Maris under 15s tomorrow night, you know. But he doesn't do that. I mean, he's going to play a mix of players, but there's probably going to be about 5 of the guys that you'd expect to start at the weekend, probably playing tomorrow, and you just hope they don't get an injury. But we've just note to everybody in advance. We've already topped the group, right? Okay. There's a question of, do you try and get your momentum back after Saturday and all of that bullshit? But we didn't lose momentum on Saturday. We played well. It's not as if we played shockingly, you know. So I think rest as many people as you can. Go to Eindhoven, give everybody that hasn't had minutes a full 90, and let's see how we go, you know. And I think if you do that,
game for a while, if you just play tomorrow,
I think we'll be on it for Sunday. The game, the 3-0 loss to Brighton last year, we were shot to pieces at that stage. We were shot to pieces, you know. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Ferguson actually, because he's.
Well, I'm not. I hope he gets a hamstring strain before the game.
I can see this being probably a draw, to be honest.
Just keep out one game.
A score draw to make the Christmas party bearable. I don't want the defeat to get everyone leaving after fucking 3 o'clock in the day. Yeah, no, look, yes, it's always a good game between Brighton now, isn't it? Yeah, so that leads us on then to Liverpool then, which is 2 days before Christmas. West Ham on the 28th, and then Fulham on New Year's Eve to finish the year off. So, yeah, you'd be expecting a strong end to the year there, yeah. And then, obviously, Liverpool then in the Cup to kick off the new year in 24, yeah. Is there anything else?
Understand that. They seem to have this, I don't know what it is. They say the computer does the fixtures. It doesn't, it's Browns. Right, when I tell you something, I can tell you how bizarre is this. On that date, right, John, I remember you had your brother in 2001, Liverpool supporting brother, when Giovanni van Bronckhorst was sent off for diving. Sweet Jesus, he was hacked out of it. And we beat him with 10 men on the 23rd of December 2001. And then a few years ago, the same date, we went 2-0 down in the first half. And then we went 3-2 up. And it was a 3-all draw, you know. I think we were upstairs in the market hall, right up the top of the house. So they seem to like putting Liverpool and Arsenal on at Anfield.
Yeah, it's always around Christmas, isn't it?
Christmas for some reason, you know.
It's always at Anfield.
It's always at Anfield.
Yeah, hopefully we're not 3 or 4-0 down like we normally are there. Yeah, no, look, yeah, it's hard to call, isn't it? It's going to be a very good title race this year. It's not going to be what we thought.
But I think it is, because there's loads of teams capable of doing damage. Like, it's not the case anymore that every drop point or two is an absolute catastrophe, because you know other teams are going to drop them
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think the annoying thing as well on Saturday, briefly, with Liverpool winning, you know, we would have hoped to have beaten Villa just to go back top. You know, that was just the disappointing thing. But look, Villa, Villa haven't, their home record is incredible since Emery took over.
I can see you at home, Jonathan, with your shoot league ladders, right? and looking at Liverpool and Arsenal and being tempted to switch them around, you know.
The only time I do that, Eamon, is at the start of the season. We'll always
with the league ladders, folks. The league ladders. I tell you,
the only reason it's that way around is because of dodgy refereeing. Let's be honest.
John, you remember the league ladders in the shoot, right?
I do.
In 75 and 75 and 76, when the Arsenal were flirting with relegation, my Christmas entertainment, never mind what you'd be lucky enough to get for Christmas or whatever, my Christmas entertainment them 22 teams, right? And taking them, putting them in a mold, shaking them, and going from the bottom up. And even if we finished 8th, it was like, that's a great season.
And we're still accepting that as a good season, so nothing has changed.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to a really good second half of the season. But yeah, if you were to give an exam marks on the first half of the season, probably a B plus.
I think there's more in us.
Yeah, I don't think we've poured yet. I don't think we've really, I think there's a lot more to come.
I think when we got Christmas last season, more that was in us had displayed. I think there's more in us,
Yeah.
It's when we reached Christmas last season, we played our best football.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then the World Cup break, fucked us up. Yeah. Yeah. Look, onwards and upwards. It's exciting times as a gooner, thank God. Was there anything you'd like mentioned about the supporters club, lads?
Yeah, Christmas parties on Sunday. Everyone should turn up. Should be a good day.
And you get to meet the guest and the host of this world famous podcast.
We can throw Johnny in the river. See, because it's right across the road. See if he can swim.
I will be swimming and drink. That's my ability.
Yeah, our only message is no time wasters, please, and no riffraff.
Johnny, you're not welcome in. Sorry, you'll have to hear it all about the next week's podcast.
I think from here on in, I'll be doing this podcast myself. I've had enough of this guff week in, week out. Yeah. No, the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club Xmas party, as we said, is this Sunday at kick-off is 1 p.m. As far as I know, from Martin, and then obviously the game is 2 p.m. and then the prizes and all that jazz starts afterwards. So it should be a good day out. And
then we're looking for a tornado and a minor earthquake in northwest England at about 4:30. No fatalities, just a few torn hamstrings that will do for the year.
Yeah, all I ask is United to actually give one decent performance. Beat them. Goes.
No, hold on. Edit that out, though. You can't.
The Aldeguard is
say something like that about everything.
No, I'm not. I just want to disassociate myself from comments like that. That's not.
Says
I think I should go.
Seeing the pub on Sunday. I'd record word for word and put this up on Monday. No, we respect every fan with equal measure on this show.
But I think that's unbecoming language.
We'll edit that part out due to John being on the show.
Yeah.
No, is there anything else, lads? Seriously, Anna, is there anything else you like mentioned, for ticket wise or anything else? No.
Oh no. I just know that if people's expectation is we get a plum draw in the FA Cup, or a big draw in the FA Cup against Liverpool, there's a bit of a sense of entitlement going on. I want tickets. We'll do our best.
All I want is the last game of the season, is all I'm asking for.
You won't be getting them.
My sterling work in this podcast deserves one ticket.
And I look forward to seeing your sterling work one of these days.
And on that note, I'd like to thank John for his last appearance. I'll try to stick you in at some point in the near future. I'd like to thank John Meany. Thanks for coming on, John.
No problem. Glad to be back.
And also Eamonn Dundee for his sterling analysis as always.
Thank you.
Our next show is next Monday for the review, hopefully, of Brighton minus the stinking hangover. So until then, have a good week, lads, and thanks for listening.
Thanks everybody. See you later. See you. Take care.